Hello everybody and welcome back to our live MOTUL Studio Show here. It's the 6 days, or the NOCA 6 days I should say, here at the Feira Internacional de Galicia. And my name is Paul Malin. Welcome to our live studio show. And of course, John T. Edmonds, who was my guest yesterday. And sadly, just for today only. So I'm going to have to go solo, or we're going to have to go digging for other guests over the next few days. But here we are, the next day, day 2, as we said. The riders were back out on track early this morning, 8:30, on the same circuit that they ran yesterday. We'll talk about all that in a few moments' time. But yeah, things are really starting to heat up here, especially at the top end. And we'll bring you abreast of all of those things as they unfold in the final stage. But John T., an interesting day yesterday. What did you make of it all in terms of the World Trophy?
In many ways, it was a typical first day of the ISDE. Anything can happen and often does happen. And as we saw yesterday, it did happen. So, yeah, unfortunately, I guess the headline news was that, Andrea Verona went out of the event, which was, yeah, it's massively disappointing for him, for Italy, and for everybody, involved in the event. I think it would have been a definite three-way fight between Andrea, Josep Garcia and Steve Holcomb, in terms of the overall individual performance. I think Andrea, just like Steve, is looking for a little bit of revenge over Josep. Josep obviously won the Enduro GP World Championship title this year, and this was the opportunity for Andrea or Steve to strike back and sort of finish the year with a significant win. But yeah, unfortunately, he went out. One or two other casualties. So yeah, an eventful first day. But in terms of the action, yeah, plenty of it. Obviously, Steve and Josep sort of leading the way, quite significantly. But yeah, lots of great racing. A difficult day, a very, very difficult day. Obviously, we spoke to trophy team riders, junior trophy team riders, women's riders. I spoke to a lot of club team riders, and yeah, it was a tough day, largely due to the conditions.
Well, in terms of how things finished yesterday, or started yesterday, obviously they were led out how they kind of finished last year, groups of 2, minute apart. But then as they finished the day yesterday, there was a new starting order, wasn't there, today? So Garcia, Holcomb, Espinas, they were in Group 1, leaving at 8:30 this morning. A minute later, the 3 French riders, Bonjour, Leclerc and Rosali, and then the rest of the riders. And then from the juniors, we had Max Arlen and Kevin Cristino in the same group. And from the women, we had Brandy Richards, Maria Badia and Rachel Archer in the first group that went out, and then Taylor Jones, Jess Gardner, Rachel Goodish. This is where it kind of gets interesting now, isn't it? Because you kind of use that to your advantage, how you latch on. Do you attack? Do you not? Do you try to break them? Yeah. It's going to be interesting how to sort of see how that's played out over the course of the day.
Absolutely. And to finish first you need to finish. Yeah. That's the golden rule of the 6 days. But day 1 is often sort of underestimated as how important that day is. A lot of people are looking to the end of the event. That's where you need to get to. But day 1 really sets things up for the rest of the week. Everybody's kind of mixed up on day 1, but the overall finishing order from day 1 effectively becomes the start order for day 2. So if you have a bad first day, you're a long, long way away from the riders at the front.
Well, let's just take a quick look how they finished yesterday. France rounded out the day 2 minutes clear of the USA, with Spain third, Australia and the Czech Republic. That was in the World Trophy category. And then just after that, in the Junior World Trophy, things were also very, very close, with the Swedes edging out France by, I think it was about 14 seconds in the end. USA, Australia not too far of a podium position at the moment. Yes, it was only day 1 and we are only on day 2, and then the Brits, of course, down there in 5th place. And yeah, interesting in the women's trophy, of course, Team USA come in here as the defending champions. They lead over the Australians. I think they had about a minute 39, minute 40 heading into day 2, with the Swedes and then France and then Spain, who their team leader, of course, is Maria Badia. But just real quick, we had overnight rain, a big downpour this morning about 20 minutes before the guys went out on track. And of course, there were some changes to ET1 and CT2. So the enduro test and the cross test, the first 2 tests of the day. Be interested to see how, well, we've already seen the times and things like that. Be interested to hear the riders' views of those little changes, whether it made any difference or not, because there were 1 or 2 parts that were a little bit impassable yesterday, I believe.
Indeed. it's normal, you know, especially when conditions, you know, are as we have them. You know, lots of rain added to lots of motorcycles, you know, creates lots of chaos. So, you know, overnight revisions to some of the special tests, you know, taking out some of the more challenging areas is you know, commonplace at the 6 days. You know, what we have to remember is this is a pro-am event, so as much as the professional contingent can deal with those conditions, you know, we've got hundreds and hundreds of club team riders, and at the end of the day, you know, they're taking on a huge challenge, but you know, the organisers also want to try and make sure they can get to the finish.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back in just a few seconds. We'll give you a little bumper here, just in case. But let's go straight into where we are today. Then a map and the postcard. This is where we're at. This is the well, not far away from there, the FIA Internacional de Galicia Abanca, and of course, this is the backdrop for where we are for the NOCA 6 days in 2024. Of course, it's the oldest off-road, I think it's the oldest motorcycle race in the world as well, isn't it? Certainly with the FIM as well. But stage 1, stage 2, we've got 125 kilometers lap, just as we did yesterday. So we head down from the bottom here, just as we did yesterday, up to the top where the two Enduro and cross tests are, come back down to where the paddock is for the final cross stage, and then we do it all again. So 6 specials in all, and the riders by now know, having ridden yesterday, exactly what to expect. And be interesting to see as well whether any people made any changes. And some people are talking about maybe wrong tyre choice, maybe some suspension settings, things like that. All those have a bearing as to how maybe they can improve going forward today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you know, a lot of the riders mentioned they were going for sort of softer tyres today. I think one of the things that caught a lot of riders out yesterday was just how rocky the terrain is. You know, obviously they don't get to pre-ride any of these special tests. They can only walk them. And as much as they can dig their boot into the ground and see what's under the grass, they never truly know until they actually get to ride it. And I think yesterday, yeah, like I say, there's a lot of rock out there. So a slightly softer tyre is the way that a lot of riders have gone. You know, I would say in terms of, you know, bike setup, generally, you know, maybe a few clicks on the suspension, but nothing too drastic. I think really mousses and tyre combinations is really where they can sort of make the most changes.
Well, obviously, we never got the chance to look at our GoPro track preview. Of course, Maurizio Michelutz, as well, has not been down here to assist us with that either.
Busy.
He's been very, very busy, and he might even be busy tonight as well if we get that planned rain for tomorrow. But what we will do, we'll bring you the kind of the GoPro track preview now, but in a slightly different way, because one thing that Steve Holcomb is very, very good at is visualizing. He's probably not the only one. Visualizing how he gets around the track. It's almost transformic, isn't it? You know, he puts himself into a trance as he visualizes. So let's take a look at how the Enduro test looks now. Here's a lap with Steve Holcomb, and here's him visualizing a lap of what they've all been riding the last 2 days.
Hi guys, Steve Holcomb here. I'm about to take you through day 1 and 2 special test number 1, the Enduro test. Okay, so we're going to go off the start. I want to stay a little bit right of the old line, heading into the first corner, a little bit of a right-left chicane. I want to stay inside on the exit there. The plan is to try and set myself up for the next corner, so I'm going to go a little bit right, left. We go into the first fast part of the special test. Kinks a little bit right, left over the brow, comes into a right corner there. We were walking it, there's a bit of a fallen down tree, so I'm either going to stay in the rut on the inside, around the outside. I want to get real close to the NOCO barrier for that left-hander, carrying down over the little rocks there. Quite a fast section, right-hander, left-hander. I want to get myself right out by the tapes there to go through. There's a little bit of a ditch. Quite a fast straight there. I want to be on the right-hand side of the track, coming in using a little bit of a bump to turn. Then I'm making attention, there's a bit of a rock in that corner. I want to stay right over, there's a little bit of a ridge, run into that corner. I want to stay right, come back on yourself a little bit of a left, a little bit of a right, a little bit of left. I want to stay quite tight on that exit. Then run down big right-hand corner. This is where I'm really looking forward to kind of getting that big 400 open and staying, I'd say, 3rd or 4th gear around there. Real long right-hander. Tightens up at the exit. There's a tree that I'm really looking forward to. That's where that I'm looking for, because that's where I want to make my turn. Then I want to stay right-hand side over a little bit of a rock section. Then it comes in there, nice left, exit out close to the tapes, but I want to come back a little bit to set myself up. There's a right, left, there's a high chance that post is going to be taken out. It's quite close to the edge of the track. then there's a real nice left-hander, drops down the hill, running into that corner there, quite deep, there's a little bit of a bump, running in right, coming back up the top, nice left, I think that corner's going to get blown out and real close to a tree, cuts down the hill, off camber here, there's two options for lines, I think, either in tight or outside. I think the corner's going to get quite blown out. Real long straight, you've got to make an attention quite close to the end of that straight. There's a bit of an old wall in the track, so I'm kind of coming over there quite fast, running into the right hand corner there, quite deep, come out of that corner, I'm staying right of that tree that's coming up. Nice left there, trying to hit the end of the tree as it comes out, little kink right, and then there's a little bit of a kind of sketchy part here where I'm looking to hit the right hand side of that jump, just to jump into the corner to set myself up for that left-hander. Left-hander, real big open corner, drops down left, cuts in, tightens up at the end, then it goes right. Left, there's a bit of a stump on the, actually that was the corner before, a little bit of a left into there, opening that corner up a little bit in between the trees, a couple of little bumps down there. Right, I can run in there quite deep on the old line. Little bit of a left around a tree or telegraph pole. Coming into a right there, I'm looking to wheelie up over this little bit of a wall. Left, real close to the tree, aiming for the tree down on the corner after, so I can straight line that next two corners. Yeah, so we're coming into the final part of the special test now. We're probably at the 6 minute mark here. So we're coming into one of the last corners. There's a real nice right close to a tree. Opens up, goes to a big double left. You want to stay right out close to the tapes here. This is probably a third gear corner for me. Then it comes into a right, and this right really opens up on itself, so you're really looking at staying real close to the left hand side of the track here. Trying to go down the long straight, getting a little bit over to the right hand side of the track. Quite a tight 90 left, a little bit of a rise. Coming into a tight bit of woodland, you've got to watch this, a little bit slippery here. You've got a left, a right, and squaring up left through the finish of the special test. Hey guys, thank you for watching me visualise day 1 and 2, test 1, the enduro test. Quite a long test, but by now you guys will know the result, and I'm hoping it's going to be as good as I think it's going to be.
Impressive stuff there from Steve Holcomb and everything else. Before we hand over to Dave Goddard, though, I just want to say, how many other riders, John T, kind of visualise and do all that kind of prep work to be ready and be as best as they can?
I think all of the World Trophy, junior World Trophy, the Women's World Trophy, and most of the top club riders, it's something that anybody that's looking for a result has to know what's out there. There's no way that you can commit 100% to any special test without knowing what's there. But the level of detail, it's pretty mind-blowing. What we have to remember is they're not allowed to ride it on a bicycle. They have to walk it. They can't record it on any device. So they're just walking, thinking, memorizing. It's pretty impressive.
Very, very impressive. Well, before we hand over to Dave, let's just have a quick word with our sponsors, shall we?
My dad was preaching just have fun with it and enjoy it. He said never take it too serious. I just enjoy racing my dirt bike no matter what it is. I don't do it for the money, I just do it for the love of it. There's events that I know I'm going to go there and lose money or not make a dime. Like a hard enduro, go push my bike around the mountains and leave with a smile on my face and totally exhausted. Just do it for the love of it. I think that helps me in life too. I've learned a lot of it in racing.
So without further ado, then let's hand over to Dave Goddard. He's up there at the final cross stage. Dave, over to you. It looks pretty nice up there at the moment.
Thanks, Paul. Yes, at the moment it does, but it has to be said that this week the rain in Spain falls mainly on the province of Galicia here in the northwestern corner of the country. A lot of rain in the run-up to this 6 days of Enduro 2024, and plenty of rain overnight and in the early part of this morning as well. The early stages of this second day, a couple of slight reroutes had to be made to get the riders around the deepest and wettest mud but it takes more than a bit of mud to stop the 500 plus competitors across all the divisions of this year's 6 days of Enduro. Of course, in the World Trophy, a total of 18 nations taking part. In the Women's World Trophy, we have 11, and in the Junior World Trophy, a total of 13. Good to see some of the junior leading riders up there in the times with the World Trophy riders as well. After day one, it was Team France who were leading the way. They certainly look pleased with their work. At the end of the first day, they led the United States by just over 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 5 seconds precisely in the classification, with third place Team Spain a little further back, just under 40 seconds back, led by the Enduro GP World Champion Josep Garcia. His teammates doing their best to back him up. Garcia fighting for the overall lead in the classification with the man we've just heard from, Steve Holcomb. But Great Britain, unfortunately, out of contention for the team award this year, with Harry Edmondson having dropped out of the event on day one. The biggest casualty of day one, as we've heard, is the former world champion Andrea Verona. Machine failure for the team Italy top man, putting him out of the event. One Italian who has performed well so far, though, is Matteo Cavallo. He was up there in 4th place in the World Trophy individual classification after stage 5 a little earlier on, but nearly a minute down on Josep Garcia, who has the lead on day 2, but only half a second clear of Steve Holcomb. Holcomb and Garcia up to that point had taken all the fastest times between them, but on stage 5 today, special test 5, was a new name at the top. Hugo Blanjou of France had gone quickest by only 0.13 of a second over Josep Garcia, with Steve Holcomb in 3rd. That's on special test 5 today. Special test 6 coming up. We're awaiting the riders to arrive at the start line. It'll be the 4th run through this special test in the event, with days 1 and 2 being a repeat run through the same lap. Stages special tests 3 and 6 being the same on each day. So special tests 1, 2 and 3, and then 4, 5 and 6. So we are still awaiting riders to get up to the start line. So for the moment, we'll hand back to Paul and Jonty in the studio.
Yes, of course, we'll patch back over to Dave Goddard as soon as we have the first rider there getting ready to go over there on the final cross test. Not a million miles away from here, about 400 or 500 metres, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
sure.
But we're just right down here in the Park Fermè. But going back to what we just saw there with Steve Holcomb, absolutely fantastic. The visualisation, everything else, as you said, you can't cycle it, you can't ride it. And if you did see any tracks on there, that was Maurizio kind of going around, and obviously any tracks that would have been there would have been from him and him alone. And that GoPro footage is sacred, isn't it? That's only for the FIM, that's only for the guys here at NOCA 6 days. No one else has any kind of inkling that exists. They have to do their own work.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, really what they're trying to achieve by walking a special test is really just to know what's there. Every rider has a slightly different system. You know, some riders will only really try to sort of log the dangers, so they know that effectively they can ride as hard as they want to, apart from certain areas. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make sure they can ride as hard and fast as they can.
Yeah, and as you can see there, looks like Josep Garcia just getting ready to go in. It's very, very close in the overall classification today, isn't it? And also in the overall standings individually between Garcia and Steve Holcomb. What can we expect here? Because the first 2 stages that we saw today, advantage Steve, the second 2, advantage Garcia, and then of course we had Hugo in there at stage 5. I'm sure Dave Goddard will bring us up to speed on all of that in a moment, but very, very tight in terms of the overall classification today.
Absolutely, and as we see there, you know, Josep looks pretty relaxed. You know, one of the interesting dynamics at the moment is, I think, you know, Josep, yes, he wants a good team result with Spain, but I think it's the overall that he's really after. And the same with Steve. Obviously, they've lost the trophy team rider, so Steve's going for the overall individual result. And it's all down to this last special test. You know, the 2 of them are separated by next to nothing. So,
right, Dave Goddard, over to you with Leo Leclerc.
So we are underway now with our 6th special test of day 2 of the 6 days of Enduro. Leo Leclerc of Team France getting us underway. The first rider we see through this special Test 6. We'll get the times coming in as soon as we can. As we say, it's Team France who lead the way at the moment, and they've increased their lead on day 2 after special Test 5. They are 4 minutes ahead of Team Spain, with the United States a further just under 38 seconds further back in that third place. So France running in the opening block of riders here, a slightly different starting order so that we have seen on day 1. Things being reassessed given the order at the end of day 1. We've given you an update on the World Trophy. Looking at the Junior World Trophy, it's Team Sweden who lead the way there, just under 15 seconds clear of Team France and the United States. A couple of riders certainly standing out in the Junior World Trophy, running up there with the times of the World Trophy riders. Max Arlin of Sweden and Italian Kevin Cristino, fighting back after a broken foot a few weeks ago, but Team Italy will not take the team prize because Manuel Verzaroli, this year's Youth World Enduro champion, is already out of the event. The other retirement there being Jose Ramdor of Team Chile. And in the Women's World Trophy, the United States lead the way, just under 1 minute 40 seconds clear of Australia, with Sweden in third. Just one retirement there. One of the Team Europe riders, Gabriela Sipkova of Slovakia, is out of the event. So getting settled in, then you can see how tricky the conditions have been. A lot of mud being carried by the riders here following the early stages. This is Jonathan Girard of the United States. Helped them to victory last year in Argentina at San Juan, and finished in the top 5 of the overall classification on that occasion. His teammates running behind him, that is Cody Barnes. Placed Taylor Roberts in the US team for this year. Good to see the Belgian team going well too. Now, Belgium doesn't have a great tradition in enduro, much more famous for its motocross riders over the years. Antoine Magan has been going well for Belgium. The overall classification at the end of day 1, he was fairly well up for Team Belgium in 15th place overall. Belgium in 7th place at the end of the first day in the World Trophy, just under 11 minutes off the lead. It's United States' Josh Toth, and a couple of slip-ups in the early stages yesterday. So currently the overall classification just outside the top 10. Get the live times coming through as the riders reach the finish of the final special test of this second day. A few confirmed retirements so far, a total of 7 across our 3 major classes. Of course, we have the several hundred club riders as well, the club team, and we'll pick them up a little bit later on. So here comes the Enduro GP World Champion, at last captured the title he's been after for several years. In 2024, Josep Garcia of Spain. He would dearly love a home win. He's topped the individual classification in these 6 days, the last 3 years in succession. He's desperate to lead Spain to a victory here. 3rd place in the classification at the moment. He's been trading fastest times at the top of the standings with Steve Holcomb. Holcomb, as we heard, was fastest on the first 2 special tests of this day 2, then Garcia quickest on the 3rd and 4th tests. They were beaten by Frenchman Hugo Blanjou on the 5th test. First time that anyone other than the top 2 had been quickest on a test in this year's events. Just awaiting the first times to come in. We'll give us in a couple of minutes. The classification after special test 5 on this second day, it's Garcia who leads by just under half a second ahead of Steve Holcomb. 3rd overall on day 2 in the World Trophy is Theo Espinas, another Frenchman, but he's some 51 seconds off the pace, so it is a 2-rider race at the top of the order, as we see Spaniard Jaume Bentrou. Team Spain only managed a 7th place because Jaume Bentrou was a non-finisher in Argentina last season. A shame because Josep Garcia was the individual classification winner. didn't quite have the support from his teammates Alejandro and Sergio Navarro, finishing 17th and 18th in Argentina. Here's Jonathan Girard, 5th place in South America last season. It was a slightly reduced entry in Argentina because of the high cost of transporting the machines to and from South America for the European teams, but an improved field of 18 nations in the World Trophy this season. The sunshine burning through the grey skies here in northwestern Spain as Jonathan Girard crosses the line. Get some times through hopefully shortly for this stage 6. Let's take a little bit of time for the result to reach us here in the box. Special Test 3 was run on the same course earlier this morning. Garcia was quickest on that occasion with a 4:13.02. That's considerably slower than yesterday's runs when they were under the 4-minute mark. So that shows how much the course has cut up and become much rougher, with so many riders having now taken a minimum of 3 runs through it. This is the 4th run through this special test for these riders. Antoine Magan of Belgium leading his squad in 7th place at the moment. So they're a couple of seconds off Team Chile, the South Americans, in 6th. A couple of minutes clear of Team Austria in 8th position. Just off of the United States comes to the finish. No results through on Special Test 6 to us at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on the timing screen. Live timing available, of course, at fim-isde.com. First couple of times now coming in as Julien Ressali of Team France crosses the line. Leo Leclerc did a 4:04.95. Jonathan Girard a 4:07.49, separated by 2.5 seconds. Josep Garcia across the line. Wait for his time to come through. He looks fired up as he crosses the line. You can see how wet and muddy it is there at the finish line. He looks angry there, Josep Garcia. So whether he's had something go wrong on that stage, we'll wait and see his time. Hugo Blanjou, quickest on Special Test 5 today, comes out of the final turn across the line. Leo Leclerc was leading Frenchman in 2023 from the squad who's here this year. The top French finisher was Loic Lariou in Argentina. He was 8th, Leclerc was 10th, Theo Espinasse 11th. So the only change to the French side is Blanjou replacing Lariou from the team that finished runners-up in South America last year. Team Sweden getting underway. This is Albin Norbin, one of our junior World Trophy riders. We said that the junior riders were up there, some of their leading runners, with the senior World Trophy riders. Here's another of them. This is Matteo Oliveira of Team United States in the Junior World Trophy. Swedish riders Max Arlin and Albin Norbin will be ones to watch. Of course, Sweden suffered that heartbreak in South America last year when they only needed a clean finish in the final motocross test on the final day, when Albin Norbin's machine broke down and his teammates Max Arlin and Axel Sen literally tried to carry him and his machine round the remainder of the race, but they lost too much time and France overtook them to take the victory. Like a scene out of the Olympics. Well, they do call this the Olympics of motorcycling. This is Leo Joyon of Team France in the Junior World Trophy. At this stage of the event, of course, the World and Junior World Trophy riders run mixed in together. In a moment of the standings in the Junior World Trophy. Emilio Herrera, the first of the Team Chile riders. Team Chile's Junior World Trophy squad, along with Jeremiah Schiller and Jose Ramdor, but unfortunately Jose is already out of the event, so Chile out of contention for the Junior World Trophy. The Junior World Trophy team standings will pick up on in a second. Test 5. The Junior World Trophy was being led by Sweden by just under 1.5 minutes ahead of France. The United States just over 4 minutes off the pace in third place in the Women's World Trophy so far today. The United States lead by 3 minutes 35 seconds ahead of Team Australia, with Sweden in third place, well clear of Team France. So that's the team standings so far after Special Test 5. Team France still leading the World Trophy classification. Waiting for more times to come in a moment. Here's one of the United States leading junior team riders, Grant Davis. Oliveira and Jason Tino, his two teammates, showing some fine pace so far. Jason Tino a couple of minutes off his teammates yesterday. Grant Davis and Matteo Oliveira were very evenly matched, only just over a second apart over the 6 special tests on day 1. It's number 106 for Team Australia, Angus Reardon, who showed some fine pace in the opening day for the Junior World Trophy. Only 5 seconds off Max Arlin, the pace setter at the end of day 1. Team Australia in contention in 4th place overall. Australia were around 50 seconds off Team United States for 3rd and 4th. The flying Swedish youngsters, Axel Sen, was less than a second off Albin Norbin's pace yesterday. Just waiting for more times to come through to us on my timing screen at the moment. We'll be able to bring you an update on how things are going. The end of day 2 of this 6 days of enduro. Team Canada back in the World Trophy. Tyler Medaglia, their leading rider so far this event. 30th place at the end of Special Test 5. Lucas Norreiter for Team Austria. Austria in 8th place. Norreiter, their quickest rider by some considerable margin. Yesterday was nearly 2 minutes clear of Bernhard Schupf and his other teammates. Teams of 4 in the World Trophy. Of 3 in the junior and women's categories. Here comes Camilo Herrera for Team Chile. Nice to see a strong South American presence here in Europe this year. Comes from Chile, Brazil, Mexico as well. So the Latin America team in the Junior World Trophy, 1 rider each from Brazil, Argentina and Colombia. Josh Gotts from Team United Kingdom. Set out of contention now, sadly, for the World Trophy this year. Harry Edmondson, the young gun, suffering problems with his machine right at the very start of the event yesterday. Here's Will Dennett, the young Australian. We heard from him in the studio yesterday, explaining how much the course can change. He says it's a completely different course, even between runs on each special test, because with the wet conditions, the track can cut up so much. Facing a completely different challenge every time. There's Matej Skuta of the Czech Republic. It's back in the 70s that Czechoslovakia, as they were then, were pretty dominant in this event with the East Germans. 75 is Iago Dominguez of Spain. 6th place in the Junior World Trophy, the Spanish trio at the moment. Alex Puey and Albert Fontova, his 2 teammates. Max Ingham for Team Great Britain, they're 5th in Junior World Trophy, 7 seconds ahead of Spain. Now have we got some times coming in now for this special test? Not as yet, just those 2 times in the 6th test have come through at the moment, so we'll have to bear with us on any times coming in. Licere and Girard's times have been confirmed. We'll see how our lead riders are getting on once things start to come through. Team Canada's squad, Alex Goujon, French-Canadian, they're 9th place in the World Trophy at the moment, Team Canada. Quite a way back on Austria in 8th place, but nearly 30 seconds ahead of Team Portugal, who round out the top 10. Making rapid progress through this special test. We've seen Joaquin Bogono of Team Chile, the number 41. This is Team Austria. Sometimes since we've seen the Austrians have success in this event. All the way back through history to 1960 when they hosted the event and won it. Also hosted the 1939 event at Salzburg, which was abandoned midway through when the outbreak of the Second World War was suddenly announced. Bruno Bozzo of Team Chile crosses the line. More times now beginning to come in. Bring those to you in just a second. Tell you Steve Holcomb has gone quickest, 3:57.88 for Great Britain. Josep Garcia did a 4 minutes .08, 2.2 seconds down on his British rival. 3rd quickest so far is Jonty Reinders of Australia. He did a 4 minutes .62. We watch Team Brazil's Antonio de Oliveira Neto. 4th quickest was Hugo Blanjou with a 4 minutes .72, so only a tenth of a second down on Reinders. Antoine Magan, the Belgian, is 5th quickest so far with a 4 minutes .93, and Lucas Doreta of Austria is 6th fastest with a 4 minutes 2.57. So in the overall Day 2 classification, Steve Holcomb has got the lead back again from Josep Garcia by 1.7 seconds. So Steve Holcomb goes back into the Day 2 advantage. See if he holds that to the end of this stage. Theo Espinas will be still 3rd quickest overall for Team France, but he's 56 seconds off the pace. It really is a 2-rider race in the overall Royal Trophy classification on an individual basis. Looking at times so far for the Junior World Trophy riders, we see Leo Joyon, the Frenchman, is currently quickest on this test with a 4 minute 4.46. Kevin Cristino of Italy is a tenth of a second off him. 3rd quickest Max Arlen with a 4 minutes 4.85. Axel Seven Albin Norbin just behind their Swedish teammates. So Kevin Cristino is the overall leader in Junior World Trophy individual classification, 18 seconds ahead of Max Arlen. Grant Davis, the American, is still 3rd in that classification. So the Women's World Trophy will hit the special test a little later on. But Kevin Cristino is currently still 3rd overall in today's classification. Quite remarkable for the Junior World Trophy rider, especially as we heard yesterday, he's still recovering from a broken foot sustained just over 3 weeks ago. Renato Silva for Team Portugal. Portuguese side currently in 10th place, or 10th at the end of Day 1. We'll have a look at the team classification after special test 6. Times are starting to come in as teams begin to complete the course. 3 teams have come through so far. including Team Italy, but of course the Italians are rider short with no Andrea Verona in the event, so they'll have a maximum 3-hour score for the day for him. France and the United States have completed the course in World Trophy so far and separated by just under 5 minutes in the daily classification. Only Sweden have completed the stage, all their riders through in Junior World Trophy on this special Test 6 as Bernhard Schopp of Austria crosses the line. Looks like it is going to be provisionally Steve Holcomb who keeps the lead. It has been swapping back and forth between him and Giuseppe Garcia over the first couple of days of this event. Garcia led by half a second coming into this final special test, but Holcomb overturning it 2.2 seconds quicker on this increasingly rough and bumpy special test 3 and 6 each day. New lap of special tests tomorrow, of course. There goes one of Team Australia. It's 102 Cooper Shader. Leading riders have all made their way through. Star for Australia, of course, Jonte Reinders up there in third fastest on this special test. Now, where's that put him in the overall classification? It's P11 in the day 2 classification. Current running order in the World Trophy: Holcomb ahead of Garcia, Espinas third, Matteo Cavallo of Italy is fourth, then Antoine Magard of Belgium fifth on day 2, Leo Leclerc sixth ahead of teammate Hugo Blanjou, Jonte Reinders in 8th place, 11th overall. So we've got some junior World Trophy riders in there, of course. Josh Toth and Julien Roussali rounding out the top 10. Josh Toth, the leading American overall. Cody Barnes in 17th. Jonathan Girard has dropped down to 20th place in the World Trophy classification on day 2. See Team Germany for the first time. This is Philipp Muller, doing Germany down in 14th out of 18 so far. Waiting for more team times to come through. An update on team classification in the World Trophy. Let's continue to make their way through this 6th and final special test of day 2. To the track here in northwestern Spain on this final special test of day 2 of the 6 days of Enduro, the Olympics of motorcycling. World and Junior World Trophy riders continue to make their way through this special test 6. Currently it is Great Britain's Steve Holcomb who is quickest with a 3:57.88. Very impressive time, especially given how much the course has cut up over the first 2 days, with 4 runs for each rider through this special test. Over 2 seconds quicker than his rival at the top, Giuseppe Garcia. That's put Steve Holcomb back into the lead of the overall World Trophy classification, 1.71 seconds, the margin between the Brit and the Spaniard, the world champion. Steve Holcomb himself a multiple world champion. Garcia has been a class champion in Enduro 1 and Enduro 2 on 4 occasions, but finally landed the big prize this season, making a 20 points top score in each of the 7 rounds held in the World Championship Enduro GP this year. Vinicius Calafate of Brazil crosses the line. Looking at the Junior World Trophy classification, meanwhile Leo Joyon has gone quickest so far on this 6th special test of the day, but only by a 1/10 of a second over Kevin Cristino, who leads the individual classification at the end of day 2 ahead of Max Arlen and Grant Davis currently. We can't say for certain until every rider has completed this special test. Eetu Puakainen crosses the line. Seen the Finnish team top since 2004 when the event was held in Poland. 6 rider teams on that occasion. On occasion Finland won the World and Junior Trophy the same events. Last time that was done was in 2021 when Italy won both on home turf in Piedmont. Last time a nation won all 3 classes, World Trophy, Junior and Women's, was Australia in 2015 when the event was held in Slovakia. Alexander Brasik of Poland across the line. Polish squad in 12th place at the end of day 1. Classification, we're getting some stats come through. France have increased their lead over Spain. They're now 4 minutes 14 seconds clear at the top of the World Trophy standings. Great Britain and Great Britain and Spain riders out at the top of the individual classification, fighting for the lead there. Team basis, France the more consistent. Their riders, Theo Espinas in 3rd place, Leo Leclerc 6th on day 1, Hugo Blanjou 7th, including a fastest time on special test 5, and Julien Blossali 10th, so all 4 of Team France in the top 10. Consistency is key. As we said at the start of the show, we heard our studio guest Jonty saying, finish first you have to finish. It's all about getting all your riders home. Team France lead at the moment over Team Spain by 4 minutes 14 seconds. A further 40 seconds back are the United States in 3rd place. The Czech Republic are 4th, end of day 2. And the teams to have completed their special tests today, Italy and Great Britain, but we know they're a rider short after retirements yesterday. Taking a quick look at the Junior World Trophy as well, and in the teams that have completed this special test, Team Sweden lead France by 1 minute 30 seconds. How does that compare to yesterday? It's increased quite considerably, actually. It's like Thibaut Giraudon has had some delays for France, so number 24. He's dropped some time today, so Team Sweden increasing their lead. The United States are almost 3 minutes back in 3rd place, and Australia and Spain round out the top 5 in the Junior World Trophy. With Great Britain in 6th, those are the only squads that have completed this test, all 3 riders getting through. Team Italy also man short. Manuel Bezzaroni, youth champion out. Steve Holcomb still quickest as Gavin Shakeli of Canada crosses the line. Canada in 9th place at the end of yesterday. Junior World Trophy where Gavin is riding, they were 8th. Kevin Shekelio in McKillop, Boston Montgomery, their Junior World Trophy squad. Rain staying away at the moment, so the sky largely overcast. Johan Barreto of Team Brazil comes in. So the Brazilian actually competing for the FIM Latin America team in the Junior World Trophy. Adolfo Scaglioni of Argentina and Jairo Gonçalves, his two teammates, the Colombian. They were in 9th place at the end of day 1. Of Team Germany crosses the line. The top 10 in World Trophy classification for this special test at the moment. Holcomb ahead of Garcia, Reinders, Blanjou and Magan. Lucas Noreiter 6th for Austria. Samuele Bernardini, the Italian, P7. Then Theo Espinas down in 8th place. Kieran Bacon of Australia 9th, and Leo Joyon showing in 10th place. Is a Junior World Trophy rider, so Matteo Cavallo, the 10th of the World Trophy riders. Puts him 4th in today's classification, just over a minute down on Steve Holcomb. So 3 teams clear at the top so far after day 2, France, Spain and the United States, because the Americans just over 7 minutes clear of Australia in 4th position. Australians over 6 minutes clear of the Czech Republic in 5th. As things stand at the moment, of course, not all teams are in. Boston Montgomery comes across the line for Team Canada in the Junior World Trophy. Let's pick up on there. Team standings. Team Sweden on top there, 90 seconds ahead of France. The United States just under 3 minutes further back in 3rd. Then it's the Australians a further minute back. Team Spain showing in 5th place at the moment, over 9 minutes off the pace. So that means they've overtaken the British squad. Sam Davies losing a bit of time today for Team Great Britain, showing a couple of minutes down on his teammates. Adolfo Scaglioni for FIM Latin America. See where they classified in the World Trophy. So Great Britain down in 6th. Out of the 6 teams that have completed the stage so far on my timing screen, Italy and Chile behind them, but as we've said, they are a man down after retirements. Too long before we see the Women's World Trophy making their way to the start line as well. The United States looking to retain their title this year. Different team to last year. Ava Silvestri coming in from the club ranks. Francisco Leite on the start line for the Portuguese squad. Rare non-appearance in the trophy in 2023, opting not to travel to South America. He did appear in the Junior World Trophy, and Francisco Leite was part of the squad there, along with Federico Roca and Rui Fernandez. They finished in 7th place in the Junior World Trophy, won by Team France. How grey the conditions are here in normally sunny Spain, as the final few riders make their way through we can hand back to the studio.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our live MOTUL Studio Show here at the NOCA 6 days, the ISDE, the FIM ISDE, the 6 days, the International 6 Days of Enduro. My name is Paul Malin, John T. Edmonds alongside me, our world-renowned, our world-famous media guru, has been joining me live on this MOTUL Studio Show. Two guests then from World Trophy joining us. The first one is already in from France, Theo Espinas. Theo, welcome to our studio show. We will speak slowly. Day two. How was it, first of all?
Welcome. Yeah, I'm very happy. I finished third in the first day and now 4 in the second day. For me, it's very happy, and also for the team, I think it's very good because now I have the gap is better now.
And how were the conditions today? Because 2 days on the same test, 4 laps of 125 kilometers, and 6 stages today, 6 stages yesterday. Was the track more rough? As we welcome our second guest, just take a seat, Dante, just there in the corner. We'll work around you. Yeah, how more different was the track today?
For me, it's destroyed, and also is dangerous. Too much bumps and too much rock in the test, and the test is very fast, and this is dangerous, but it's dangerous. It's the real Enduro.
Yeah. Well, did you want to come in now, or should we go straight to Dante?
Go on, you take the lead.
I was going to say, you've literally just come in, like just parked the bike or watched you just pulling up as we got going there. Welcome to Spain, first of all. Dante Oliveira, everybody. How were your 2 days, and how was today in particular?
Today in particular wasn't too hot, but overall it was a good day. I had some fun on the dirt bike. I started off pretty hot, did decent off the first test with the P4, and then felt good the whole first loop, but crashed in the test 2 and test 3, so that wasn't too good. And then loop 2, I just ran out of juice. It was a struggle bus after that, and yeah, so lost a little bit of time, but ready for some new track tomorrow. I had a lot of fun today. I was hoping to make up a little more time, just because when it gets a little rougher, I tend to do a little better, so bummed on not taking that opportunity, but overall it was a decent day.
If they said we're coming back here tomorrow, what would you say?
Let's go. Just really, because I ride better in the rougher conditions.
Yeah.
So I don't know about better, but just navigate it a little easier.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed yesterday, and one of the things that's quite interesting to me is, I think obviously the US trophy team, the French trophy team, it's a period of transition. You know, especially with the French, you know, you had some really dominant years. A lot of the big name riders, you know, were French. That generation has sort of moved on. They've retired. There's a much younger squad now. I guess, you know, there's still the same motivation, the same ambition to win, but it's a much younger squad. You know, what's it like being a part of the French team in the ISDE now? You know, is there you know, is there a father figure inside the team? You know, obviously before with, you know, the likes of René, Mio, Nambertine, you know, you had some incredible riders, incredible teams, and also those experienced riders were able to help the youngsters as they progress from junior team into trophy team. That's not really happening at the moment, but it seems that the team is as strong as ever. And the thing that really impressed me yesterday, you know, out on the special test was you guys looked like you wanted to win from the very first special test.
Yeah, it's different team because the old generation is not the same now. But for me, it's good because all is young and good vibes, and this is important for the team, I think, and for the performance. But and it's good for the team. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose, like you said, the same can be said for Team USA. You know, when you've got your Kurt Casellis and your Taylor Roberts and those guys kind of moving aside, and you know, who's the kind of the team leader for Team USA coming into this weekend, and who's your inspiration, who you're learning from?
Right, we had some good guys in the past, and we're still a strong team, but we're young and a little more green.
I'm not disputing that at all, but it's just like the going forward, you know.
Right, going forward, it's like kind of everybody's trying to see who the next guy is to take over and be the leader. I kind of sat back and just stayed a little quiet and just tried to work on myself, but yeah, it'd be nice to improve and be able to take over a leading role. Because with Taylor Roberts, it was great having him because he just so much knowledge and a lot of just racing experience and whatnot. So it was great. Mo was giving us advice, and he was a kind of guy to go and out of his way to help us out as well. So that was always nice.
Sure.
Yeah, and obviously, I guess it's a little bit of role reversal this year. You know, for Europeans to go to, I know you had to travel from North America to South America, but I feel like there was more of an advantage on the US side than there was from the Europeans having to travel to South America. But I guess this year it's completely the reverse. You know, obviously for the French to travel to Spain, it's, you know, you jump in a vehicle, you drive here. Obviously for you guys, it's probably, you know, experiencing a little bit more of what the Europeans experienced last year traveling to South America. So, you know, is that one of the sort of the biggest challenges as a squad, you know, adapting to the travel, the foreign country, the terrain? You know, it looked a little bit like, and again, with all respect, you guys looked a little bit out of sorts yesterday morning, especially when I saw you, versus the French. Just, you know, they were on it. They, you know, it kind of looked like they wanted to win, and you guys looked like you were trying to just figure out the terrain a little bit. You know?
This was on the first lap when you were out there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, just our style of racing we do on the West Coast, not on the West Coast, and just the U.S. it's more moto style or endurance racing, to where we're out there for an hour and a half to 3 hours or 30-minute motos. So we're doing 7-minute lap times, cranking 10 laps or so. So we know everything very well. And at least a lot of my races, I practice Sunday morning before I go and race. So just the aspect of no practice on the track is it's a little different just to go out and send it. So we always do struggle a little bit on day one, which is annoying, but it's one of the things I try to work on a lot before I get over here, and it's always just a kick in the butt after day one, but I always look forward to another day on familiar terrain.
All right, well look, guys, the women are just going out on track now, so Dante, Teo, thanks for joining us this week on the studio here, the MOTUL Studio Show. All the best for the rest of the week, and let's see how you guys end up.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, let's head back to Dave Goddard. He's trackside.
Yes, thanks, Paul. Getting underway with the Women's World Trophy then. Special test 6 of the day. And, so far, after special test 5, it was the United States with the lead of the Women's World Trophy classification by, so far, 3.5 minutes ahead of Team Australia in second place. They've increased their lead. They were leading at the end of day one by 1 minute 39 seconds. They've increased their lead by almost 2 minutes so far today. Danielle McDonald for Australia losing a bit of time today. But the Team United States squad of Brandy Richards, Rachel Guttish and Ava Silvestri, replacing the injured Corey Steed in this year's lineup, have the lead. Third place in the classification, almost 3 minutes back at the end of the previous special test, was Team Sweden, whereas in the overall classification, the individual classification that is, after special test 5, Brandy Richards had the lead ahead of the world champion Mireia Badia of Spain. We saw her a moment ago heading out onto this special test 6, was leading at the Day 2 classification by just over 25 seconds. And the most impressive rookie, if you like, so far has been Rachel Archer of Team New Zealand. Now, she is an Enduro champion in the United States. She won the women's GNCC title this year, beating Brandy Richards, no less, among other riders. Corey Steed finishing third in that classification, but she's sadly out of this event through injury. Rachel Archer was indeed quickest on special test 3 today, the same course as we're seeing on this one, the only riders a finish ahead of Brandy Richards on any of today's special tests in the Women's World Trophy classification. So Rachel Archer certainly one to watch here for Team New Zealand. In the individual classification after special test 5, she was third, just under 3 seconds behind Mireia Badia, the Women's World Champion this year. Here is Ava Silvestri, newcomer for the United States this year on the gas. Gets underway off the line. The United States looking to retain the title they took in fairly dominant fashion. Well, in Argentina last season, the United States were the only nation to get all 3 of their riders through to the finish, with Taylor Jones dropping out for Australia, who were second, and the Latin America team finished with only Barbara Neves in one piece at the end of what was a very tough event indeed for the Women's World Trophy riders. The United States eventually winning it by several hours when penalties were brought in. Of course, if a rider drops out of the event, they score a maximum of 3 hours for each day that they don't complete. Taylor Jones for Australia last season, for example, didn't complete days 4, 5 and 6, so scored a maximum of 9 hours for those 3 days, which is why Australia were so far behind in second. We haven't seen many retirements. It's not been too much attrition so far. There's a long way to go, yes. The only retirement in the Women's World Trophy classification so far that we know of is Gabriela Chipkova of Slovakia, riding for the Team Europe squad. Combination of riders from the Czech Republic and Slovakia. They're at the tail end of the classification, of course, with that retirement. Here is Mireia Badia, the Women's Enduro GP champion. Clear win over Rachel Guttish in this year's competition, and wins in Portugal, Italy and Rhayader in Wales. Guttish second, and Rosie Rowett, the leading British rider, third, but Rosie Rowett absent from this year's 6 days. Eve Holmes, Emily Hall and Elizabeth Tett representing Great Britain. They were 6th at the end of day 1. Waiting for times to come in for special test 6 from our Women's World Trophy competition. We'll bring those to you as soon as they do. So we won't have times in for the teams until all 3 riders from each team have completed the special test. There is the classification from the end of special test 5, with the United States 3 minutes 35 seconds precise ahead of Team Australia. Speaking of Team Australia, here is Taylor Jones, who failed to finish last year's events. So far today after special test 5. Taylor Jones in 5th position, just ahead of Jess Gardiner, a 6-time winner of the Women's World Trophy for Australia. Danielle McDonald a little further back in P14. 3 Americans all in the top 10. Here's Rachel Guttish. Quieter start than normal to the event for her, but she's in P7 after our 5th special test of the day. Wait for her times to come in along with everyone else. Here's Shelby Turner of Team Canada. They were in 8th place at the end of day 1. Shelby teaming up with Courtney Schmale and Emma Sharpless. No times through yet for our Women's World Trophy riders. They are about to come in. Yes, we've got some times through now. Brandy Richards did a 4:30.78. Mireia Badia a 4:34.97, but Rachel Archer has gone quickest, 4:29.64. That's over a second quicker than Brandy Richards, and that will move Rachel Archer into 2nd place in the Day 2 classification. So Archer up into P2, 26.89 seconds off Brandy Richards. Meantime, we'll head back to Paul in the studio.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our live MOTUL Studio Show here at the NOCO 6 days, the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro. Me, Paul Malin, John T. Edmonds alongside me, our next two victims. I won't call them guests. They join us now, they're just in as well, Max Arlen and Tyler Medelia. Guys, good to see you. Do you come here often?
Yeah, try to.
Yeah, doesn't work the second time around, does it, when you're off air, on air? How was your day, guys, first of all? And, how was it being on track? How far apart were you in terms of the way that you set out? Because I know you were in the first junior group to go out. You were what, where were you in relation to
I was just
group
a little
7 or
bit.
8?
I was just a little bit further back than him. He's crushing it. So, I could see him take off before some of the tests. And I was actually riding with one of his teammates was on, I think, one of your teammates, or one of the guys that in the same gear. So, that was good. And, it was, it's nice to get those two enduro test and that cross test over there done with. Didn't like them?
Not a fan?
Scary, man. I'm like 150 pounds on the 450 going wide open and just stumps and rocks and,
hanging off the back like a piece of wet washing.
I think there was a shot of the guy that got him on YouTube. I clipped a rock and just swapped going down, surfed the bike, just about ate crap, but kept her up.
Yeah. What about you, Max?
Yeah, like you and me discussed this morning, was quite interesting to be starting a bit further ahead today, and obviously the results shows that was like better to be up there. No, I'm really pleasant with the day, and feeling good.
Yeah, just interested. You were kind of half joking, half serious about how tough the conditions are out there. I'm sure, like all riders, come the evening, you're having some food, you're getting ready to get yourself to bed. You look at the results, you look at the test times, and you sneak up to the top, and you look at the times that your Steve Holcombs and your Joseph Garcias are doing. It's a little demoralizing, I guess, but can you imagine how those guys are traveling that fast over that terrain?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's risk management, right? Like, I know how good those guys are, and for me to, there's bits and pieces where I feel like I could go that speed, but at the same time, like I got 3 kids, and I'm not, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm not threading the needle as much as I should be, maybe, but. I mean, those guys are ripping. It's pretty cool to be a part of it and just be in there. And the first one of the cross tests, I was kind of in there with a good time, so that felt good. And it's going back and looking at you get a little demoralized when you see sometimes you're a little bit further down, but then you get that taste of it, right? Like you come across the line, you see right around the top 10, that's like awesome, right? So it's ups and downs.
In general, obviously, we've done this test now, this whole circuit and the stages twice, 2 days in a row. How did the overnight rain and the rain first thing this morning kind of affect? Because we had it right here in the Park Fermè, but further up on the top there where the first 2 stages were, had it rained up there as well? And was it kind of like it was yesterday all over again? Because at the end of the day, it looked like it was just getting real nice, when we were watching the final stage on the box here. The traction looked good, and then I was thinking, man, the last thing they need right now is another rain shower, and that's exactly what you had. So how did you deal with that? Just in the usual way, I guess.
I mean, the final test today was almost drier than yesterday, but definitely the morning was wetter. The first guys, I think, had a bit of problem that there was like this much of mud. And I feel like us that started a bit more behind had we gained from that. And it was interesting also because the third test of the first lap, no one wanted to go because I feel like it was so slippery to be starting first.
Yeah, we saw that when we saw just Garcia just sitting there, not in a hurry to go out. So there was a few guys, and you called it, just said it was more like a tactical thing, just to sort of let guys clear the track. And I guess people forget how tactical and technical ISDE and enduro in general can be. For those reasons. You're not just thinking about getting first from there to there to there. You've also got to think about the bigger picture. And if just sitting back within your time frame allows that to happen, to give you an advantage, then, you can bend those rules a little, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, it takes some finagling, I guess.
Finagling.
It's a great word.
Is that a Canadian word?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I just made it up.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
It's a Canadian thing to do. Nah, but like there's so much to go. Like it's hard to sleep at night because you got so much to think about and like what do you got to do and how much stuff you got to do on your bike. Like I was stressing because today was the first time I actually changed both my tires at once. Wow. Normally I'm just a chicken shit and I do the rear one. I'm like, no, I'll do it in the morning. So I usually just do my front in the morning and use it a little bit of a warm up so I don't get like, warm up the hands, no arm pump. But going back to what you said about the rain, it was more about the transfers. That was the crazy part because the tests are so destroyed that if it's muddy or it's dry, it's just like a gong show out there. The second time around today, anyways, it was just the transfers getting soaking wet and no vision in the morning. It's dark and there's like rocks and roots on a 45-degree angle that you can't see, and it's well, that's why we're here. We love it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
well, you don't see that first time around, then you kind of see it the second time around and wish you hadn't done it first time around.
And just jumping in, it was interesting yesterday how kind of tired everybody was, surprisingly possibly because it was only the first day, but you make a great point there. It's not really day one. That's probably day 7 because, you've traveled across the Atlantic to get here. You've been out walking every day. The mental fatigue at the start of the event, is something that a lot of people I think forget, because like you said, it's hard to sleep. You're thinking about what I've got to do tomorrow, what have I done today, how was my result, where can I make improvements on certain special tests. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people do forget is just how mentally draining it is preparing to get to day one.
Yeah, so and I primarily ride hare scrambles and motocross. So like, does this feel like just like another, like in GP to you, or do you have other stuff to worry about for this race?
No, definitely have other stuff to worry about. Also the fact that we only do 6 special tests. I mean, in the GP it's normally 10 or 12. So like a mistake here is so costful.
Oh, yeah.
Team Sweden are looking good in the juniors at the moment. You've got to be pleased with that. Obviously, you're in that same position last year. Not going to go over all ground and all the rest of it. No, I'm not. But it's got to feel good, though, to come back fighting and challenging for the win again, just like you were 12 months ago in Argentina.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not completely sure how much the gap is now to the French guys. But
well, it was only about 14 seconds going into today, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, it was super tight. But they have definitely stepped up their game since last year. And but that's fun also because they're pushing us to go even faster. So no, I'm happy with the team, and I think also my teammates are happy with how it's going.
Cool. And obviously tomorrow, brand new stage. Yes. Yeah. And that's me. You guys are going to be.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
What can we expect? Because obviously, were you one of those as well that kind of walks the stages in reverse? So you start with, okay, not the motocross because that's still been built, but stage 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just to sort of have the first stage fresh in your mind. And when did you last walk sort of what should be tomorrow's stage, stage 4, which is going to be on day 3? Because just to point out, we had so much bad weather. Stage 3 was cancelled ahead of time. So you're going to go at the moment 4, 4, 5, it looks like, but that can show, I guess that can change as well. Oh.
Yeah. It looks good. These tests look more normal, I guess you could say, because the ones that we were riding today up, the ones that actually got canceled would have been I think it would have been a lot janky like today's. But the
Steve
ones
Holcomb said he was looking forward to that one, stage 3.
Yeah, he can keep it. come back to Spain after. But no, I'm looking forward to the ones that we're doing now. Yeah. So it's more grass track. Hopefully, like the one close to the paddock here had a bunch of nice ruts. So hopefully we get nice ruts. So makes the riding more enjoyable for me.
And Max, same. Looking forward, it looks like a slightly better stage. I think being on fresh ground will be a bonus. Yeah,
definitely. And maybe now with a good starting position from today, the fresh grass can be useful. I mean, if you're starting a bit further back, the grass is maybe already gone. So hopefully we can have a bit of help that.
Yeah. In a moment we're going to hand back to Dave Goddard, but a week ago we had the Motocross of Nations at Matchley Basin. How old's Talon?
He's 13.
13 years old. He entered the Yamaha YZ Blue Crew 85cc category. Big stage, Motocross of Nations. Not sure how many thousands of people, but a lot. Big track, big jumps. Shame he wasn't sending it that way.
Yeah, I had to tell him to pump the brakes a little bit. He was scaring the shit out of me, jumping the uphill triples, and he had a kind of a bad start, and he was coming through the pack, and he was jumping over kids' head, and I could hear the crowd screaming, and it was just because he was riding like a maniac. But no, it's good. He's coming up. He loves this enduro stuff too, so hopefully he can carry the name and keep it up for us.
Sounds like you taught him well.
Yeah, tried to.
Well, look, guys, thanks for joining us, Max and Tyler. All the best for the rest of the week, and good job so far, and hope you enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, let's go back to Dave Goddard, shall we, and see what he's got going up there. Maybe some club action while we wait for the women to come down here for the final part of our MOTUL Studio Show here down in the Park Fermè.
Carving through twisties, nailing the perfect landing, leaning into every corner, losing yourself on the open road. There's no feeling like it. Dunlop tyres deliver outstanding grip and protection, so you can enjoy the true thrill of the ride. More freedom, more adventure, more exhilaration. Just ride.
Thanks very much, Paul. Welcome back to Special Test 6. Apologies for any choice language you may have heard from the riders during their interviews there, but we are now getting underway with some of our Club Team Award riders. We'll introduce them to you in a moment. Kimi Koskin and the Finnish rider on the course there for the Kimbo Titus Eco team from Finland. There is Jaden Darners for GTBN, the American squadron. It's over 120 teams in the Club Team Award this year. Team Italy, the leaders after day one. A bit more on that in a moment. We'll just update you with some times from the Women's World Trophy. We'd just had the times coming in for Special Test 6 and we handed back to the studio. Rachel Archer has gone quickest on Special Test 6. That means she's beaten Brandy Richards on all 4 runs through this test over the course of the last 2 days. She did a 4:29.64, 1.14 seconds quicker than Brandy Richards. Mireia Badia in 3rd place with a 4:34.97. Taylor Jones and Francesca Nocera for Italy rounding out the top 5. Brandy Richards leads the individual classification on day 2 ahead of Rachel Archer. Rachel leapfrogging Mireia Badia into 2nd place. Jones and Nocera rounding out the top 5. And in terms of the team classification, we've had 3 teams so far whose times are coming in. The United States lead Australia, but their lead has been cut by 6 seconds. They now lead by 3 minutes 29 over the Australians. So now we move on to the Club Team Award. We'll bring you the standings after the opening day. It was Lorenzo Maccarito for Team Italy who was the leader after day 1 for the club riders. This really is the backbone of enduro racing, all getting an equal chance to race alongside the pros. Team Italy with Lorenzo Maccarito, Pietro Scardina and Enrico Rinaldi, all 3 of them in the top 4 of the classification. So a pretty dominant lead for the Team Italy club ahead of the French club team Puy de Velay in 2nd place. Enzo Marshall there, top rider, in 3rd place overall. We'll pick up on some of the riders coming through in just a moment. Test today was Maccarito, Scardina and Rinaldi, who took a clean sweep of the top 3 times on our 5th test of this 2nd day. First non-Team Italy rider was Team Wales rider Alex Walton from the Motorcycle Club of Wales in the UK. He's now fourth place in the Day 2 classification behind Enzo Marchal, the Frenchman. Racing for Puy-en-Velay, alongside Jeremy Petit and Julien Gauthier there, trying their best to take the fight to Team Italy at the top. Very much the pre-event favourites for the Club Team Award. Enzo Marchal was quickest on special test 1 today. Macarito on 2, 4 and 5, and on test 3 it was Marchal again. Scardina had 2 seconds, 2 thirds, it was out 8th on special test 3, so this was perhaps his weaker one. We'll see how things go when we start to get the times in. So we've got our women's club trophy events as well. Veteran club team. 3 teams in the Women's Club Team Award. The Eric Cleveland Memorial Team from the USA leading that at the moment. Waiting confirmation of the Veteran Club Team Award further back. So number 8-3-3 there. So, Judith Pola. Solar, I should say. To the end of her day. .737 in the colours of Spain, Alex Samel. For Moto Club Igualada. Across the line comes one of our Team Italy riders, that is Enrico Rinaldi. Hopefully we'll have the live times starting to come in for special test 6 in a moment, so we can tell you. How things have gone so far. Well, the first few times are coming in, but slightly jumbled order for our club riders. We'll see how the leading riders get on fairly shortly. Jocelyn Barnes is the quickest of the times that have come in to us so far. She's riding for the Eric Cleveland Memorial Team in the Women's Club Team Award. Ahead of her teammate Olivia Pugh, they were separated by 3 seconds at the top of their time, so they're going to keep the lead in the Women's Club Team Award. Lorna Lafont has put in a quick time too for the Lozère Enduro Team 3 squad from France. Riding with Serge Prizer and Jeremy Maurice. Lorna's done a 5 minutes .23, 3.25 seconds off Jocelyn Barnes' time. So these club riders about a minute off the pace of the pros that we saw in the World Trophy. 6:03 latest mail for Team GTBN. Now, some said they could be contenders for a podium place in our Club Team Award. Going the right way about it at the moment, certainly. Luis Gonçalves, the Spaniard, 9:37. Riding for the RFME club team. Teammate of Alex Samel for number 737. We saw him earlier on, and Alfred Pellicer. Alex Samel was riding for Moto Club Igualada. RFME, apologies there. A little tricky to identify the numbers on some of these riders. Enduro Club Semili from the Czech Republic, led by Ondrej Haverda, along with Martin Kuchera and Milan Kotic. Saw Ondrej in action there. Waiting for more times to come in from our club riders. Of course, there's different classes as well, depending on the category of machine in both the pro and club classes. Enduro 1, Enduro 2 and Enduro 3, and there's Club 1, 2 and 3 as well, based on specification of machine. Teams from all over the world getting their chance to race against the pros. It is great to see. Take to Anthony Ferrante from the USA. Waiting for more times to come in at the moment. Seen the team Italy riders come through. The 29th is Tyler Vore from the Huff Legacy Racing team from the USA. Teammate of Trevor Maley and Tanner Whipple. Yes, Lorenzo Macarito, I can tell you, has gone quickest by a very clear margin. It's got a 4 minutes 5.8 through this special test 6. That's over 6 seconds quicker, 6.25 seconds quicker than Enzo Marshall, who's second fastest, number 551 for the Puy-en-Velay club team, who hosted the 6 Days of Enduro 2 years ago, of course. Third quickest is Leighton Smale for GTBN, the American. The general classification for the club team award, Macarito leads overall by 25.7 seconds over Enzo Marshall. Enrico Rinaldi is third. He's gone fourth fastest on this test, 4:16.9 his time. Alex Salmel, fifth quickest at the moment with a 4:17.22. Macarito ahead of Marshall, and Rinaldi 43 seconds off the pace. He's 3 seconds ahead of Pietro Scardina, so still Team Italy with those 3 riders in the top 4 places. So they'll keep a handsome lead in the club team award classification. Julien Gauthier rounding out the top 5 at the moment, second rider in the classification for Puy-en-Velay. Jaden Downers for GTBN next, so looking like that's how the top 3 is going to play out in terms of the team award. We haven't got any team times through as yet. Italy, the only squad to have completed with all 3 of their riders so far. Pick up on team times if we have time before we hand back. There's Cooper Jones for XC Gear. They were the club team award winners in Argentina last year. Cooper Jones, Cole Whitmer and Hunter Smith, their representatives this season. At the end of day 1 ahead of Puy-en-Velay and RFME. GTBN were only a couple of seconds off, well 1.5 seconds to be precise, off RFME, so it looks like the American squad are going to possibly move into 3rd place. XC Gear rounded out the top 5 at the end of day 1. Saw Kimi Koskinen in the top 10 overall as well. He's 7th in the individual classification, and his squad, Kimbo, Titus, Nico, are in 7th place in the team's classification as well. Morito still the quickest by over 6 seconds. I wonder if he'll come to the attention of the trophy squad for next year for Team Italy. Abel Carballes from Spain for Team Galicia 2, the local squad. The Galicia club have got 2 teams in there. Abel's teammates are Carlos Moreras and Aaron Bernades. The other squad is Jorge Paradelo, Rio Turina and Jose Calva. 5:22 leaves the line. Red, white and green there, that must be one of Team Wales. Yes, that's Jack Heath, that's the Duffed Dirt Bike Club from Wales. Alan Jones and Gareth Jones, his teammates. A few Welsh teams, of course. A round of the Enduro GP series was held in Wales this year at Rhaeada. .557 is Jack Probert. He's for the Rhaeada club, right on cue. Teammates of Adam James and Ben Thompson. .575 is Carlos Moreras for Galicia 2. Two squads that have completed this stage. We have times for Team Italy and RFME, the Spanish club of Alex Samuel, Alfred Pelletier and Luis Gonfalves. They've completed their stage. They're some 11 minutes off Team Italy. The Italians will keep their lead. It's pretty much assured, I would say. Seen Josh Toth in action for Team USA. Well, here is Zach Toth riding for US Sprint Enduro with Anson Maloney and Anthony Ferrante. We saw Anthony earlier on. See a high concentration of American teams in all the categories this year. So the 513 there as well. Martin Fernandez in the background of Team Chile 1. Several Mexican squads in the club team award as well this year. For a slightly thinner year in Argentina last year. He's taken the tape out there on the final couple of corners. We see that very often. Ryder Tomaselli here for the Elizabeth Scott Community team from America. Alex Dorsey and Lane Lorenzo, our riders' teammates. Team reunited at the end of the special test. Very, very busy out on the course at the moment. Riders going all ways through the Galician scrubland. That's William Hughes from Team Braintree from Essex in England. Braintree and District Motorcycle Club. Ben Clark and Luke Parker, their other representatives here. There can't be many international motorsport events on 2 or 4 wheels where amateur and clubman level riders can compete. alongside the pros on an equal footing like this. Well, some fantastic action from here in Galicia, but that's about all from myself. Thanks very much for listening. I'll hand it back to Paul in our studio.
Crea tu propio look con 24MX. Haz que tu moto destaque con nuevas calcas, bujes, llantas y fundas de asiento. Personaliza tu bidón de agua, tu maillot o tu bolsa de equipación. Personaliza tu moto con 24MX.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our final part of our MOTUL Studio Show here at the NOCA 6 Days, the FIM ISDE International 6 Days of Enduro with me, Paul Malin and John T. Edmonds. We are just awaiting the arrival of our two final guests, Brandy Richards of the USA and Mireia Badia of Spain. Of course, Mireia is the 2024 Women's Enduro Champion. And ladies, take a seat and we'll get these girls settled as soon as they can. And what a day it's been, what a couple of days it's been, I guess. Good to see you. How are you? Tired?
A little bit.
The last thing you want to do is sit here in front of TV cameras and everything else, I guess.
Now I only want to eat.
Well, look, Brandy, I'm going to start with you. 2 solid days in the seat. You must be pleased with how things are going at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely happy with it. It's like the first 2 days have definitely been different than what I expected. There's definitely a lot of rock underneath and definitely slippery, but I'm glad we didn't get too much rain, so, but happy with how it's been going.
And are these conditions, Mireia, typical of where we are? Because this is not like normal Spain, like on the Mediterranean side, is it? It's a lot greener, a lot more sort of moist, I guess, humid here normally?
Yeah, normally here in Galicia is more wet than the other part of Spain. And we ride in this year in the same place in Santiago, and the special test will destroy the same, a lot of rocks, stones. So it's difficult to ride good here and not make mistakes.
How was the start of the day 2 for you? Because obviously with Rachel Archer and you two in the same group, how was that dynamic? Were you more aggressive? Were you more aggressive? Who was doing the chasing? Who was doing all of that kind of stuff? And how did that all play out? Because on paper, it looks like it could have been quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of nice. Like going into the test, you're kind of the same speed, we're pretty close. So you can kind of gauge yourself off of how far ahead you are, how far behind you are. And then transfers, we all kind of ride together. I mean, towards the end, Rachel kind of took off and left us there a little bit, but we had so much time. It was kind of nice to just chill out and cruise the roads a little bit. But it's awesome racing with these girls and being around them all day. They're all so nice, and it's always a good time.
Yeah. JT.
Yeah, well, for me the same, because it's a pleasure to ride similar like Brandy or Rachel. And well, it's difficult to push all the special tests because with this level you need to push every corner. And it's difficult to not make mistakes, but we will try to fight.
Yeah, and obviously one of the sort of unique selling points of the ISDE, the 6 days, is the fact that normally in sort of World Championship, European-based World Championship competition, there aren't as many American riders. There aren't the Canadians, the New Zealanders, the Australians. So as World Champion, I guess, do you enjoy having those extra competitors around you?
Yeah, it's good that the USA, Australia, and all these teams come here to ride, because then you can see all the level in the world, and you can compare with all, and then you can make better the race. So it's good.
But also like different style of racing. Here, Enduro GP is different to GNCC, the Hare and Hound, the sprint, the Enduro stuff. So I guess just, being here and do you kind of sense that as well in terms of how people ride? Like if you're riding a sprint, for instance, is there a tendency to kind of go and blow yourself out like too early and only on day 1 because that's what you're used to at home, for instance,
Yeah, for sure. I raced this year. I started racing GNCC, which is obviously an endurance race, but I also race US Sprint Enduro, which is similar in the sense of like the sprint in the test, but we don't have transfers and stuff. So being able to get that speed, that sprint speed, is definitely a big help because GNCC, like, you can't really necessarily sprint because you have lappers, you have other riders, and it's just a lot more kind of slowed down and definitely a lot different for sure. But having the sprint enduro, it definitely helps out for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
No, I was just going to ask. Obviously, we're 2 days in. Tomorrow's kind of the step into the unknown. Most events are 2-day events, so day 3 is when, I guess, when things really start to hurt. Yeah, just what are your hopes and expectations really for the rest of the week? Obviously, I'm guessing that you're both hoping for strong team results, strong individual results, but do you come into an event like this? Can you come into an event like this with an absolute nailed down goal, or do you just kind of hope that you want to be somewhere near the front of individual and team results?
I think you're asking somebody who's won this thing a couple of times.
Yeah, but it's one thing to win it; it's another thing to win it again, isn't it? And obviously coming over to Europe with plus the conditions. Sure. Are you here to win? That's it, black and white. We don't want to finish second; we want to win. Or are you kind of hoping that you can win, but that anything can happen during the week?
For sure. I mean, absolutely, the goal's to win every single time you come in. I think everyone kind of has that goal. But it is, especially like here being such a different, I've never really done a super wet 6 days, so it's definitely different, and I think you have to minimize mistakes and kind of control it throughout the week. But I mean, I think you just have to take it as it goes. I mean, obviously we're leading as a team as well, so that's also a very big goal. So it's also keeping yourself healthy and not getting hurt, or keeping the bike good and finishing at the same time as trying to win and get those test wins.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, it's difficult to beat Brandy in the individual category, but I will try to fight for this. And the same, that don't make mistakes, and for sure that team, the only goal is to finish, because the other girls don't have a lot of experience. So the principal goal is to finish all the team.
Mm-hmm. We've had 2 days on the same circuit. Tomorrow you're going to be on a new stage, fresh dirt, fresh terrain, new tests. How much are you looking forward to that from what you've seen in your, 78 days since you've been here, just walking all these tests? How much are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I can't wait. Just the transfers were getting super rough, and just to kind of have a nice fresh day, fresh trails, and just kind of a different look, different tests. Those two, the enduro and the cross, the ones that are right next to each other, those were definitely very tricky and got very rough, a little sketchy, but I'm excited for new tests and trails for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for me the same. I want to do a new test because these 2 days now the test is destroyed and so difficult. So we want a new special test for tomorrow.
You're not the only ones to say that. All the guys that have been in the same. Even Josep yesterday, already the test is destroyed.
Josep, tell me this.
But so we've got 4 days left. How are you feeling physically at the moment?
Well, for the moment, good. It's so difficult, the transfer, because it's a lot of bumps, and you can rest because it's every time like wow. Yeah. But for the moment, good. Now the objective is finish in the same line.
Yeah. And the same for you? Feel okay?
Yeah, I mean, good. First 2 days, are kind of usually the easiest. We'll see how we feel waking up in the morning. I think that's when you wake up a little stiff and stuff. But I mean, end of the day, I do feel pretty good and ready to just eat some dinner and get some rest for sure.
How's the atmosphere within the team actually? Because obviously you got 2 teammates, you both got 2 teammates. How are you finding that? And is this your first time to Spain actually, or not? You came.
Yeah, this is my first time in Spain.
So how are you finding all of that as well? And are you doing stuff with your teammates prior to this, or
Absolutely. So we have Rachel Gudish, and we were going to have Corey Steed, but unfortunately she got hurt, so we had a last-minute replacement with Ava. And I'm from the west coast of the U.S., so I spent most of my life racing that stuff, and that's where she's from. So I've known Ava for many years. She's kind of been my little follower and just kind of helping her out all these years. And Rachel, I've done a couple ISDEs with now, and then also kind of racing a little bit against her. She's been, you know, kind of in Europe a lot too as well. But you know, we try to do a lot together, good bonding, and just get a good atmosphere going. Like, we walk all the tests together, we eat dinner together. We actually play Uno at night together, get a little competition going between us. But it's a great atmosphere. We all work really well together.
Cool. And how is it within your team camp?
Well, we know Nora and Maria in the Spanish Championship.
Yeah.
And, well, for Maria, it's the first year in the ESD, and Nora is the second time. But we always try to help the girls because they need to know a lot of things. And the same, we have a good atmosphere. We do some trainings together, and it's good, the team.
Cool. Any last requests, Jonty?
No, I was just going to ask, you know, what's your post-race routine? You've both said that the only thing you want to do right now is eat. Is it just food, or is it food, massage, you know, one of those ice bath things? You know, what time are you going to bed? You know, what other jobs do you have to do before you know, can really sort of finish the day?
And when are you going up and looking at the next stage and tomorrow's stuff? And then what time do you expect to be back?
Well, for me, now eat the ice bath, that I feel so pain there. and then walking since the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And then go sleep, eat, and repeat.
Sleep, eat, repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely eat right away as soon as I leave here. That's what I'm going to do. And then it's kind of every other day, a massage, and then probably just a hot bath and another dinner, and just relax the rest of the night.
Cool. Well, look, girls, thanks for joining us in here. And yeah, we're day 2, just 4 more to go. Keep up the good work, and I'm sure we'll see you keep battling, you know, at the top of the individuals at the very, very least. So yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, look, we are out of time, but before we go and think about tomorrow, let's take a quick look at the standings then as they appear now in all 3 classes at the end of day 2. We should have them coming up on our monitor now then. So, Jonty, your eyes are better than mine. Just about.
Can't quite see what we've got there. I don't think we've got Brazil ahead of France, but that's what it says there.
All right, we might sack that one off then until tomorrow. We'll wait for the results to update themselves. But let's go forward then to what we can expect tomorrow. Here's a quick look at the track and the plan and everything like that we have on day 3. Because of the weather, and by all accounts we are supposed to be going day 4. Well, certainly that was a couple of days ago, wasn't it? But hopefully we stick to the plan, stick to the script, and we go day 4, day 5, in which case we'll be heading south of here. Like today, the last 2 days we've been going north of here, now we're going to be heading south, so new terrain, different cross tests, different enduro tests, and I believe it's more than, it was about 140k or something like that, but this is how it looks for tomorrow. Just follow the red line, follow the arrows, girls, you'll be all right. Usual stages and everything else, the cross test, enduro test as well. But that's what we can look forward to for day 3. And on that bombshell, we are out of time, so thanks to all our guests today, thanks to Jonty, and enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are. And yeah, enjoy some colour images and some of the action shots from today. We'll be back tomorrow with our live MOTUL Studio Show here from the Park Fermè. So from me, Paul Malin, Jonty Edmonds, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.